Depot. That's my second home. I own the mobile home park that we're trying to evangelize or whatever. So I'm never at Macy's. I'm always at Home Depot or Lowe's. And one day I was at Home Depot. How long ago was that?
That's about a month ago.
A couple months ago.
Yeah, a month ago.
And I was in the car writing out a note of the things I needed to get. And there was a gal walking back and forth like she was waiting for a ride. And I thought, maybe I better just wait to see if the ride comes or not, because she might be stranded. So finally the ride came, and she left, and I got out of the car. I sat in the car almost a good half hour. Got out of the car, and I never go to this Home Depot, and there's a gentleman standing. He had a ladder protruding out of the back of his car. What's
Chuck Dunn.
Chuck.
Chuck.
You know Chuck?
Yeah.
And he had his ladder protruding out of the back of the car, and he turned around, and he was white from head to toe. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this guy a mess? And the first thing I thought of was years ago, I was on muscle relaxants painting my mom's, or staining my mom's fence, and I got it all over me. And I went into the house for lunch, and she said, did you get any on the fence? So I looked at this gentleman, and I said, did you get any on whatever you were painting? And he kind of laughed and said yes, and I said, I hope you're not a real painter. And he said, no, and I said, well, how did you get, I mean, he just head to toe, how did you get full of white paint? And he was on the roof of the mobile, seal coating it white, and he tripped and he slid. Just like these kids, you ever see those slides that the kids have with water on? And he just slid, and I said, oh, gosh, what is your wife going to think when she sees this mess? Well, then he started to talk about, I don't know how we got into it, started to talk about God and Jesus Christ, why he was there. And then he said he was a president. Isn't he a president of a college?
Bible college up in...
And I thought, yeah, and I'm the Queen of England. I mean, if you would have seen what he looked like, I thought, yeah, well, right, this guy, I just thought he was a fake. You know, I thought he was a nutcase. So he just kept talking and talking, and I think it was an hour and a half later, he reached into his car and he gave me a book. And on the back was this young, good-looking fellow with dark brown hair, and I said, who's this? And he said, well, that's me, when he was much younger. So he gave me a book, and he gave me two, they call them CDs now, right? Not tape, CDs. He gave me two CD booklets with like 10 CDs in it. And I thought, this is more than any preacher has ever given me, and I'm 65 in my whole lifetime, it seemed like. So he talked, now we're on to 2 hours in the parking lot. And the phone rings, and that's his wife. And I thought, oh boy, she's really going to be mad this guy isn't home for supper. But she didn't seem to care, and I said to him, well, she must be used to this, you know, that he gets into these conversations. But then he invited me to church, and you know, they all do that. Oh, you got to come to this wonderful church, and I thought, oh, they all say that. So he invited me, and he told me to meet him at CVS Pharmacy over, I live in Winter Haven, over in Auburndale. So I met him that morning and came here. And of course everybody, you know, gives you a hug, what have you, and I thought, yeah. You know, I think you're so skeptical. I was raised Catholic, ended up going to the Baptist church, and like you said before, they ask for money, they want this, they want that, and I never really met a true, genuine church. And then I thought, well, I'll give them another try. I'll come back next week. And that's been, I don't know how long. Oh, and then the thing that really got me was they invited me to lunch at the preacher's house. Because normally you invite the preacher to your house. First time I've ever met him, and I'm going to lunch at the preacher's house. And I think I've been there twice now for lunch. Yeah. And then, of course, supper. But, and it's just amazing what true, genuine people they are. And I was giving an appreciation to the mobile home people in the park, and the pastor said, well, do you mind if we come over and help? And then I didn't want them to think that this was a setup, so I'm going to get longer. You know, and
It was.
But anyways, I don't know how many people, 11, 12 people came from the church.
11, yeah.
And it's not so much as what you say, because there's a lot of preachers out there telling you, tickling your ears, like the Bible says, what you want to hear. But they chipped in and helped. Sharon, you were there. helping, cutting all the pies and what have you, and pastor's wife, Cassandra, was there helping, and I tell you, we had a grill, a gas grill, and there were 4 guys, you know, they're all Mr. Grillers. Pastor was one of them. He didn't know how to turn it on. I mean, we should have had not only pictures of this, but what do you call it? Video. Well, turn this button, don't turn that button. And it's like, you know, we got to get this food cooked. But anyways, we got it cooked. But the people in the park, I think, were mostly, they were taken back that everybody chipped in. Everybody was down to earth. You weren't there. Highfalutin preacher was there, and his wife was there. Everybody just chipped in, and everybody did a marvelous job. And that's what it is. People watch you. People watch you all the time and see how you act and react. And they saw that, and I think we've changed some hearts. I had a young gentleman come up the other day that's been going the way of Satan, and he knows it. I mean, he can quote the Bible left and right. And I talked to Raymond yesterday, and he wants to find a church that doesn't ask for money, and that's phony. And I believe Raymond's going to be coming, and the gentleman you talked to, the big guy, Ken, he's going to be coming, and a couple gals are going to be coming. And so I think we're going to build we might call it Chapman's Church on the north side. But it's all because of people like you that you're genuine, and I see this church really coming along and becoming one of the prominent churches in town, and because you're doing so much. And I've never seen a church go after the atheist and put signs up. He's got a poster for me to put in front of the park. But I've never seen such a small church do so much and have such an influence in town. And it's too bad people are missing this church, but we'll find them. We'll find all those people out there, and I appreciate the chance to be a member of this church. And I get a hug from Morty. That's it. So who do I hand this to now? Okay. But